This podcast episode is sponsored by Palumbo and Bertrand, attorneys at law.
Good day, seniors and active adults. Welcome back to our YouTube podcast, Get Your Weekly Slice, where we protect, inform, and educate you, our seniors and active adults, every week about what you should know as you age. It is about keeping you, our seniors, in the know. This story is us helping seniors number 2. Now I'm going to share that how this all began was I had some buyers that were looking at a certain area, a certain subdivision, a certain community. And they were a young couple with a family. We put 2 offers on a couple properties and we lost both of them. And it was right before the pandemic. And they found out, because they had friends in that neighborhood, that there was a house that they have, rumor had it, that they have never seen the owners for several years. So they gave me the address. And what I did is I took the address, put together a paragraph or 2, and sent it to the owner, and I sent it to her 4 children. And the owner lived out of state up in the Northeast. And she contacted me, left me a voicemail. I returned the call. And yes, she was interested in selling her home. And she wanted to know about approximately how much. And I kind of shared with her, but it was based off of current comps, not the condition of the home. So we started that process, and then I followed up with her. And I never heard anything from her children, which I found out from her, they were her stepchildren. So I followed up with her and I never got a response. Followed up a couple weeks later, never got a response. And I continued to do so. And then finally she answered the phone. Well, what had happened is that she fell and she was in rehab for about 3 to 4 weeks. Now, keep in mind, this individual was in her late 80s. And we had a conversation. She said she was still interested. And in the meantime, I had sent her some blogs that I wrote. They were story blogs, basically about customers, about my value, about my seminars, and such. And I sent her one. And then a couple of weeks later, I had a conversation with her. And then I sent her another one. So I wanted her to get to know me through these blogs that I had written early on. Well, it got to be about 4 months later. And when I connected with her, after she's had time to read those blogs, digest our conversations, etc. And I said, I think there's either issues with your roof, possibility, and or with the air conditioning unit. And she sat on it. And then when I followed up with her, she allowed me, because I had sent her some pictures of the outside, what it looked like, etc. And when I followed up with her, she allowed me to get a locksmith to open the house to get us in. I connected the locksmith with her. She gave him the okay. We got into the house, or he got me access to get into the house. And it was what it was. It was not one leak, but there were 4 separate leaks from the roof. And some of the ceiling was falling down, and it was a mess in a couple different areas. And when I walked out, now keep in mind, this is in July in Florida when it starts to heat up. The AC wasn't working either. So we had the 4 roof leaks in different parts of the house. The AC wasn't working. And by the time I got outside, keep in mind, I was relieved to be outside in the 95-degree weather because it was cooler than it was on the inside of that house, all buttoned up with no AC. My shirt was soaked. But long story short, we got it addressed. And then I started the process with her. So we she allowed me to get a roof quote from one of my trusted resources, a roofer. She allowed me to get an AC quote from one of my trusted resource AC companies. And in addition to meeting those people there at the house to get those quotes, I noticed that in the kitchen that the cabinet was pulling from the studs because there was so much weight from the dishes in the cabinets. So I relieved the pressure and took all that out and set it on the counter. Now, in further discussion with her, I found out that the last time she was down here was with her husband. Now, keep in mind, her husband passed away 8 to 9 years ago. So it had been almost 11 years since they had been in that house. Now, the stepchildren, when they had a key, checked on it. In between those years from 1 to 9, but everything seemed to be okay at that time. But again, when I looked at it, when I reached out to her, no one had been to that house probably for the last 3 to 5 years. So long story short, she connected me with one of her stepchildren. And I was able to have a good conversation with him. He checked my website out, checked my background, and he was okay with everything. I was doing what he felt was the right thing. And then he and his wife, and I believe it was his mother-in-law, made a drive down from Tennessee, and I met with them. And really, it was to see the condition of the house to make sure that everything that I shared with him. In the meantime, I had sent him a video of all the damage with the roof, and I couldn't really do the video of the AC, but he got the point. When he came down, it was for him to come down to see the extent of the damage, to report back to his stepmother, but also for him to get some of the things that she wanted because she wasn't going to make it down. Again, we were in during the pandemic. She wasn't going to make it down because the only way she was going to get down was to fly, and she was 89 years old. Wasn't going to happen. So he was like the mediator, intermediate. Is that what I want to say? But anyway, you know what the middleman. So he was able to pick up some things, and he brought a trailer, and he took some of the things back to his house in Tennessee, knowing that someday when he was heading up to the Northeast to visit with his stepmother, he would take the items that she wanted. Now, lo and behold, we didn't realize that she was a little bit of a hoarder. And what we discovered after the stepson and daughter-in-law left, and I brought in the estate sale person, we didn't realize that she had stuff underneath the couches, underneath the beds in all 3 bedrooms. underneath cabinets throughout the house. So she had a lot of stuff and more stuff than we ever thought. Now, the other thing that we all seen is that they had a car here. Now that car has been sitting in the garage for almost 11 years. All the tires were flat. The birds, had gotten into the garage somehow, and there was excrement all over the outside of it. The son gave me the okay to have a company come tow it, donate it, and get whatever he could out of that car. So that's what we did. So it began, and I was representing both the buyer and the seller, so I had to be fair to both. And the good thing was she understood that, the stepson understood that, and the buyers understood that. It was about making sure that she was not taken advantage of. Now, keep in mind, I also had to have the septic checked to make sure everything was in order there. But I pulled it all together. It took 11 months to do all of this while communicating with them long distance. She didn't have a credit card. She didn't pay for things. But what I found out through this process, she ended up trusting me. I provided the quotes, told her, she authorized the work to be done. We did everything by mail. And the relationship that I had with my trusted resources were that they would do it. And then once it was done, then what would happen is she would write them a check and send them the check for it after it was all done. So they trusted me, and as I trusted her. So it all worked out. We got the roof done, we got the AC done, we got the septic checked, and then we started putting numbers together. And not only did we have it appraised, pre-appraised, because there was going to be a financing piece that was going to be included with the buyers purchasing this home. So it was going to get appraised, but they paid for an appraisal. I paid for an appraisal. So we knew where that number needed to be for them to move forward with the purchase of this house. So we were all on the same page. The bottom line is that we got it all done. And the last piece was the estate sale. Never realized it, never had the conversation with her. Always learn as I go through this process of helping seniors and active adults. She let the insurance elapse. So I struggled to get insurance to make sure that once we had the estate sale, the liability was covered in case anything happened to the guests that came in through the house and purchased any of the items that were in and during the estate sale. So fortunately, we got that done. We got that worked out. She made money from the estate sale. It wasn't a lot because a lot of it was very old, but the remaining items were donated to a group that the estate sale person works with. So everything was liquidated after the sale. She was given a check for the sale, and I want to say that it was maybe $500 to $7,500 that she got in the mail for the estate sale. So the bottom line is that we took care of all of that stuff. I did. It was an 11-month process. It was a lot of work. And it was a lot of work, especially when documents needed to be signed, but they had to be wet signed. And then she already had in place, thank goodness, that her stepson that she connected me with had power of attorney so we could get some of those documents done electronically. So we didn't lose any time with any of the documents when it came to the sale of the home. But we did lose time when it came to putting the AC in, having the roof done, the estate sale, the contract. That took time because it was via mail. But all in all, it all turned out well. She was happy. We netted her a little over 200,000, given the condition of the house and the things that she had already put into the house, the roof and the AC. They had to be done, or it would have been a lot less. But it was a lot more. She was able to get a lot of her personal items out via her stepson that she wanted, that she remembered, because he took pictures while he was down and shared them with her. And then it kind of, for the most part, gave her an opportunity to see the house the way the house was, and what type of things that she might have forgot that she remembered when she seen it in the picture that she wanted. So that helped out as well. Bottom line is we got it all done. Of course, we had a delay, not one but two delays with the mortgage, with the financing piece of it, but we got it all put in place because of inspections, etc. It was all done. The buyers were happy. She was happy because she wasn't taken advantage of. I made a friend with her. I still connect with her today. She's 91 years old. I connect with the stepson. But all in all, it was a good experience, not only for her and her family, but for me and the buyers and their family that I helped. It's all about protecting, informing, and educating them, doing the right thing. And that's why I and Elba, we like to do what we do, because it's so rewarding knowing that this family was not taken advantage of because of the house and the condition of her not being able to make it down here. So she got her money. I sent her pictures after the remodel, and she was very impressed with what the buyers did to the house and how it looks today. Again, this is the rewarding part of being a real estate agent that focuses on seniors and active adults, helping them through that process. Keep in mind, not all agents are different like I and Alba, but we're here to help individual families, seniors. We're here to do the right thing for them so they're not taken advantage of. Thank you. And if you have any questions or concerns, and you have family members that are interested, or you're interested in connecting your family members with myself or Alba, Alba's bilingual, we'll be able to help them through the process and make sure that they get the most money as they move or transition into their next chapter. In closing, I hope you enjoyed today's Get Your Weekly Slice. If you'd like to discuss further today's topic, you can reach me via email at mike@your, Y-O-U-R, Florida, spelled out, Haven, Haven.com, or call me at 407-340-5291 to set up an appointment. I provide a free 1.5-hour in-person meeting to discuss your future plans on aging while providing you a minimum of 3 options to choose from. Don't forget to follow us and like us on Facebook and Instagram. While on my website at yourfloridahaven.com, sign up for my monthly newsletter, RSV to any of my in-person events, which are held at the Orange County Library, Smarter Senior Seminar Series events, and to view any and all of my videos and podcasts. We hope these podcasts are helpful, and if they are, please share with your friends, family, and neighbors by letting them know what we offer as certified senior housing professionals, designated real estate agents, to our seniors and active adults as they age. We're a connector. It is about keeping seniors in the know. Till next time, when you come back to get your weekly slice.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Palumbo and Bertrand, attorneys at law.